Welcome back. We're going to have segment three of Super Bowl 101 in just a moment. And here is today's Gas Sports 101 segment three trivia question for this segment. What player holds the record for the most consecutive completions in a Super Bowl? And I'll have the answer later on the podcast. Here's that one. Now we're going to get into segment three. The Kansas City Chiefs are one win from an unprecedented NFL three-peat after beating the Buffalo Bills to reach the Super Bowl 59. The Chiefs held for a thrilling 32 to 29 win over the Buffalo Bills to become the first back-to-back champions to return to the Super Bowl. It's the fifth time in 6 years that Kansas City has reached NFL's championship game, winning of the past five. Uh, they will face the Philadelphia Eagles, as you know, in New Orleans today, February 9th, in a repeat of Super Bowl 57, as I mentioned in my first segment. Uh, the Eagles came into the conference championship games as slight favorites to win this year's Super Bowl and romped to a 55 to 23 win over the Washington Commanders earlier on that Sunday. Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen is the favorite to be named this season's most valuable player, but the Bills came against the Chiefs in the postseason for the fourth time in 5 years. And again, Kansas City's counterpart, Patrick Mahomes, a two-time season MVP, came out on top in a nail-biting finish to the AFC Championship game. Visitors, Buffalo led 22 to 21 coming into the fourth quarter, in which the game hinged on two short yardage plays by the Bills. They came either side of two fine touchdown drives and a Chiefs field goal, which ultimately proved decisive. Excuse me. Each time Buffalo turned the ball over on downs, leaving the host offense with less than 2 minutes to go to see out the game and close in on NFL immortality, and that is very true. And this game will really be one to watch today. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Sam proud of him.
And
Actually watched this piece last night with Nick Sirianni. And Nick started from.
And this is really good. I think it's going to come down to a last second touchdown or a last second field goal.
Opening up for using this platform for guys like you for doing other people to know that it's okay that we can all have this.
And I really just feel this is going to be a game to watch today. And
battle our mental health can lead to mental wealth. Jimmy Johnson, you know a little bit about mental wealth, and you've really used a lot of motivational tactics.
And
it all starts with 6 inches between the ears.
Yeah, and Jay, great piece on that.
And
it's really for all of us to listen to that. It's inspirational. And
this was really when they got past Buffalo, the Chiefs really.
He's got some partners now. Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, outstanding.
And they really got a.
Kellen Moore, he had a reputation with the Dallas Cowboys of throwing the ball too much. They went 2-2 the first.
And they really had a.
Offensive lineman went to Kellen Moore and said, "Listen, we've got the best running."
This is really for a game that's really going to be
the entire league. Let's run the football. And so they started running the football, and you know what happened? They started winning because Barkley is the best.
Yeah, it's like they had an intervention. Say, let's run the ball. Let's stop messing around here. But when they have to throw the ball,
they can throw the ball. Back in 2020, they need a receiver. They had the
And
21st
they're
pick
just
in the
really
draft
just
in
going to
the
be one of
first
those
round.
games.
Justin Jefferson was
But when
available.
Mahomes
They
throws the
wanted him,
ball,
and
he
they
throws the
took
ball. And
Jalen
same with
Reagor.
Hurts. And
And
these are
one
two
thing you
dynamite
talk about
quarterbacks.
Howard
You're
Roseman
really
didn't realize it was a
going to
mistake.
see.
No GM is stubborn; they don't change. Well, Howard Roseman said, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out and get us a receiver." They traded for AJ Brown, and they traded Rieger to a Vikings, ironically, where Justin Jefferson ended up. But this is a guy that when he's in the game, they average 28 points a game. When he's not, they average 16
and
points
this
a
is
game.
something I found.
If you're throwing it to him or not, he still has an impact because he
And
averages
some of the biggest stars in the NFL get all the headlines, but just the deciding factor in Sunday's Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles could be the contest between two men not even on the pitch. The tactics of opposing head coaches Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni could be the difference between victory and defeat, and I can agree with that. It's called a violent chess match, and if you have ever seen inside a playbook and seen each play drawn up and X's and O's fashion, you would have to agree. Hours and hours go into positioning each and every player on each and every play. And
had to make concessions. So has Jalen Hurts. And to their credit, they've done. Look at those runs.
with just one tactical tweak or one missed assignment, possibly deciding what color confetti will be falling inside the Superdome in New Orleans come Sunday. And so, what makes the Chiefs NFL's mentality monsters? What do the Eagles need to do to end their reign? And where will the game be won and lost? And lost. First, why do the Chiefs keep on winning? Well, it helps having one of the best quarterbacks of all time, Patrick Mahomes, and a coach in Reid who has continually tweaked and developed his squad to build a commanding dynasty.
Do we need to wave her down to tell her that?
For
a young homeowner turning into their parents, the neighborhood is their life.
And Reid, who's continually tweaked and developed his squad to build a commanding dynasty, as I mentioned. The Chiefs have changed over the past few years from a high-powered passing attack, and with Mahomes flinging the ball all over the field to this season being led by the defense. There is no ego even in their biggest stars. Mahomes and Travis Kelce, who never worried about having a statistically poor season as they knew the sacrifice could well result in a historic ending. The greatest strength, however, is that winning is their winning mortality, which shows up when edging close games. An NFL record of 17 one-score games decided by 8 points or fewer in a row have gone their way, including 12 this season, and they have found all kinds of ways to win them, including creating late turnovers and blocking field goals, anything they can muster, to get the job done. And right now, we'll get back to more of this in just a second, but right now, it is time to reveal the answer to segment 3, Super Bowl 101 trivia question. Which player holds the record for most consecutive completions in a Super Bowl? And if you said Tom Brady, you are correct. In Super Bowl 56, Tom Brady completed a Super Bowl record 16 consecutive passes. He finished the day with 276 passing yards and 2 touchdown passes, in a losing effort against the New York Giants, who won 21-17. I'll have another trivia question in segment 4 coming up, so stay tuned for that. Now getting back to what I was talking about, Uh, uh, Reed has built a winning machine that never knows when the game is up, and that will be a huge benefit on Super Bowl Sunday when the biggest game of all is on the line. There's a huge advantage in knowing they have been there and done it. They find comfort in being uncomfortable. They see opportunities to win rather than worry about losing, and they can stay loose when others tighten up. That is a massive positive in games this big. Now, the Eagles must uh, avoid beating themselves. The Eagles have the better team. They have the top defense in the NFL and are dominant on both offensive and defensive lines. They're both very dominant and have a dual threat quarterback with elite receivers in Saquon Barkley. They have the biggest X factor in the league, and still, although they may not need to play a perfect game, they need near perfect execution because just one mistake would cost them. Quarterback Jalen Hurts knows this all too well, as he had the game of his life in the last Super Bowl between the two. Yet his fumble, his only turnover in 7 playoff games, cost a touchdown as the Chiefs triumphed in a close game. Of course, they did, according to Next Gen Stats. Teams facing the Chiefs have dropped 11 passes, missed 5 kicks, last 4 fumbles, and twice failed with 2-point conversions in the last 3 playoff campaigns. Those points are crucial in close games, and the Chiefs have taken advantage time and again to now stand on the brink of history. The Eagles have everything they need to prevent the three-peat and beat the Chiefs, but they have to avoid beating themselves first. Now, now we've got some key battles for Super Bowl glory. Can the Chiefs stop Barkley? And I'm not so sure they can do that they're going to be able to. Star running back Barkley is 30 yards short of the NFL record for a single season and is the big weapon for the Eagles. He can score from anywhere and is as dangerous in the fourth quarter as the first. The Chiefs have not allowed a 100-yard rusher in 18 games, and if they can neutralize his threat, they could be in business. But Hurts could steal the show. Of course, the Chiefs put everything into stopping Barkley that could allow Hurts the chance to reproduce his performance from his last Super Bowl when he ran for 70 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns and threw for 304 yards and another score. It was one of the greatest quarterback displays in Super Bowl history, but it's largely forgotten thanks to his one key error and the result with receivers A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith truly elite and Hurts a powerful runner. The Chiefs cannot afford to overlook him. Now, watch out for Mahomes, the runner. The Eagles' defense will be swarming all over Mahomes, but they have to be careful not to get too aggressive and allow him to wriggle free because he's a lethal scrambler in the playoffs. Mahomes is not especially quick, but he is amenable, and what makes him dangerous is on that broken plays. His telepathy with tight end Travis Kelce is so good that defenders never know if he will attempt an ambitious throw or tuck and run. He proved the difference against the Buffalo Bills with 2 rushing touchdowns and ran for 7 first downs in the playoffs to keep drives alive. Although he threw 3 touchdowns against Philadelphia in their previous Super Bowl meeting. His late 26-yard scramble was crucial to the Chiefs winning, and that was on a bad ankle. And
Hey, Giants fans,
the battle of defensive monsters. The big names on offense get all the headlines, but there are 2 defensive big beasts playing in the Super Bowl on each defensive line that could decide this game, and I can agree with that. I think that's what it will be. Kansas City's Chris Jones and Philadelphia's Jalen Carter can both wreck a game from anywhere along the defensive line, and although they may not have gaudy sack numbers, they often pop in big moments and exert telling pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Jones in particular attacks double teams which can make space for others, but ultimately one of these 2 players battling in the trenches could have the telling defensive play of the game. And watch out for big games from for that one. Anyway, star names such as Mahomes, Barkley, Hurts, and Kelsey. Who else could have a big game? Dallas Goedert of the Eagles is an elite tight end, and the Chiefs have struggled to defend that position all season, giving up the most yards and 3rd most catches per game to tight ends this season. Tight ends are a matchup of nightmare as they are too quick for linebackers, but too big and strong for defensive backs. Goedert has already shown that in the playoffs and leads the Eagles in catches, targets, receiving yards, and big plays. And once he gets the ball, he is hard to stop as he has completed 123 yards after the catch during the playoff run. Xavier Worthy choked the fastest Xavier Worthy, not choked, clocked the fastest. Clocked, not choked, as I said. Xavier Worthy clocked the fastest 40-yard dash in history at the NFL Combine at the rookie receiver's speed has been deadly ever since he scored with his first touch in the league this year. Worthy often receives quick, flat passes from Mahomes to get him into space on the double, where he can turn on the afterburners and cause real problems. After receiving and rushing touchdown against Buffalo in the AFC Championship, a similar impact in New Orleans could win the team a 3rd straight Super Bowl. So that's basically what I wanted to, what I had for more about today's game, and I think it's going to come down to a last-second touchdown or a last-second field goal. I really think that is what is going to come down to, I think. So, so that's why I feel it's going to come down to a last second touchdown or a last second field goal. So, that's just that's going to do it for this 3rd segment. That wraps it up. And I'll be back with segment 4 when Super Bowl 101 continues. More coming up. Stay tuned.